Imagine discovering a hidden control panel inside your own body, a single switch that, when stuck in the on position, keeps your blood pressure dangerously elevated, defying every medication and desperate effort. What if I told you that groundbreaking new research, hot off the presses just weeks ago, has finally revealed this elusive switch, and more importantly, how to turn it off? The implications are astounding. We're talking about the potential to dramatically drop your blood pressure by 20, 30, even a staggering 40 points, not over years, but within a mere matter of weeks. This isn't wishful thinking. It's a revelation that could completely reset your entire cardiovascular system, offering a lifeline you might never have thought possible. I'm Dr. Shi Heng Yi Whitmore, and after 2 decades navigating the intricate world of cardiac surgery, I've witnessed countless transformations. I've seen patients arrive on a cocktail of 4, 5, or even 6 different blood pressure medications, yet remain trapped in a relentless cycle of dangerously high readings. They felt helpless, frustrated, and at the mercy of a condition that seemed untreatable. But then, a profound shift occurred. They learned to flip this hidden switch. Within weeks, their blood pressure began to plummet, and within months, many were able to significantly reduce their reliance on medications, all because they finally understood the true culprit keeping that vital control system stubbornly locked in the on position. By the end of this video, you won't just know what this mysterious switch is. You'll gain an unparalleled understanding of the 7 distinct, interconnected mechanisms that conspire to keep it activated. More critically, you'll be equipped with 7 scientifically proven techniques, complete with actionable protocols that you can begin implementing today to confidently take back control. But first, to truly grasp the scale of this challenge and the potential for change, I need you to do something essential right now. Pause this video and share your current blood pressure reading in the comments below. Just the numbers. I'm personally reading every single one, eager to understand your starting point and the battles you're currently facing. Your insight will help illuminate the path forward for everyone watching. William's desperate struggle, a common misconception. To truly illustrate the profound impact of this stuck switch, allow me to share William's story, a narrative that tragically mirrors the experiences of millions. William was a 69-year-old retired accountant, a man who had built a life over 40 years of marriage, raising 2 adult children, yet found himself trapped in a silent battle against his own body. When he first came to see me, his blood pressure was a harrowing 178/104. This wasn't a new fight. For 6 years, he had been diligently taking blood pressure medications, starting with 1, then 2, then 3, until he was on a daily regimen of 4 distinct prescriptions: an ACE inhibitor, an ARB, a calcium channel blocker, and a diuretic. His doctors, skilled and dedicated, had exhausted every conventional approach. They'd meticulously adjusted combinations, tweaked doses, and swapped medications, hoping to find a breakthrough. Yet, nothing seemed to work. His pressure might budge slightly, perhaps to 172/100, but it stubbornly refused to reach a healthy goal, never dipping below 160 systolic. Compounding his frustration, the very medications designed to help were making his life a misery. The diuretic forced constant urination, turning every outing into a desperate search for a bathroom. The ACE inhibitor triggered a relentless dry cough that gnawed at his peace. His ankles swelled from the calcium channel blocker, and the beta blocker left him perpetually exhausted, a shadow of his former self. "I'm doing everything right," William confessed to me, his voice laced with desperation. "I take every pill exactly as prescribed, never missing a dose. I watch my salt intake and I exercise whenever I can. So why, Dr. Whitmore, why won't my blood pressure come down?" It was a question I'd heard countless times, highlighting a critical misunderstanding about high blood pressure. My response wasn't to ask about his diet or exercise, but something far more personal. "William, describe your typical day for me. Not just what you eat or how you move, but your emotional state, your stress levels, your mental patterns from the moment you wake until you fall asleep." What William revealed was a relentless cycle of internal turmoil. He woke up anxious every morning, his mind already racing before he even left his bed. Worries about his health, Would today be the day for a stroke? Mingled with financial anxieties and concerns for his adult son navigating a divorce. For 20 agonizing minutes, his heart would pound, his mind would spin, all before his feet even touched the floor. His first act of the day, immediately checking the news, a relentless barrage of politics, crime, and disasters, each headline designed to provoke upset and succeeding wildly. By breakfast, he was already tightly wound. Small, often trivial arguments would erupt with his wife. What to have for dinner, visiting her sister, politics again. These squabbles would escalate, voices rising, tension building in an already fragile environment. His mornings continued with more news, fueling more worry and anger. He'd compulsively check his blood pressure multiple times, and each high reading would only intensify his anxiety, creating a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. By afternoon, he was utterly exhausted from the constant mental and emotional tension, yet relaxation remained elusive. His shoulders were perpetually tight, his jaw clenched, his mind a relentless hamster wheel. Evenings offered no respite. More news, more worry, more arguments at dinner, culminating in hours spent lying in bed, unable to quiet his racing thoughts. He'd finally drift off around 1 or 2 a.m., only to awaken at 5 a.m., with his heart already pounding, a cycle of poor quality sleep and exhaustion ready to begin anew. This had been William's life for years, and his blood pressure, stubbornly and dangerously elevated, was a perfect reflection of this constant internal emergency. Unmasking the sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight override. "William," I explained gently, "your blood pressure medications are working. They are doing exactly what they're designed to do. But there's a powerful control system within your body that is overriding them, running at maximum power for years, stuck in what I call emergency mode. When this system is constantly activated, it raises your blood pressure through not one, but 6 distinct mechanisms, all operating simultaneously. Your medications are fighting against these 6 powerful forces, and frankly, they can't win." William's confusion was palpable. "What system? What are you talking about?" I told him about the sympathetic nervous system, more commonly known as the fight or flight response. It's your body's ancient, indispensable emergency alarm system, designed to spring into action only when you're in genuine danger, when you need to fight for your life or flee from a threat. When this system is appropriately engaged, it unleashes an immediate and powerful cascade of physiological changes. Firstly, it floods your body with adrenaline and noradrenaline, potent stress hormones released from your adrenal glands. These hormones instruct your heart to beat faster and harder, pumping more blood with each contraction, significantly increasing your cardiac output. Secondly, they cause blood vessels throughout your entire body, your arteries and arterioles, to constrict, to tighten up. This constriction dramatically increases resistance, meaning your heart has to exert far greater pressure to push blood through these narrowed pathways, resulting in an instant surge in blood pressure. Thirdly, your sympathetic nervous system triggers the activation of the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, a complex hormonal cascade originating in your kidneys. Once activated, this system compels your kidneys to retain sodium and water, increasing your overall blood volume. Imagine trying to force more water through pipes of the same size. The pressure inevitably rises. Fourth, sympathetic activation ruthlessly suppresses its counterpart, the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's rest and digest system. When the parasympathetic system is active, your heart rate slows, blood vessels dilate, and blood pressure naturally drops. But with sympathetic dominance, your body loses this vital brake, operating solely on the accelerator. Fifth, chronic sympathetic activation leads to an increase in cortisol production. Cortisol, your long-term stress hormone, raises blood sugar, fuels inflammation, and makes your blood vessels even more reactive to pressure-raising signals. Finally, and crucially, sustained sympathetic activation eventually causes insulin resistance. High insulin levels, in turn, signal your kidneys to retain even more sodium, adding another powerful mechanism that relentlessly drives your blood pressure upward. So, When your sympathetic nervous system is perpetually activated, you have these 6 distinct powerful mechanisms, all conspiring to push your blood pressure higher at the same time. Your medications, no matter how potent, might successfully block 1 or 2 of these pathways, but they are simply overwhelmed by the combined force of all 6. The inevitable outcome, your blood pressure remains stubbornly elevated, despite your best efforts and the best pharmaceutical interventions. The critical insight here is this. This sophisticated system is designed for brief activation during genuine emergencies, a bear chasing you, a near-miss car accident. It turns on, you handle the threat, the danger passes, and the system swiftly turns off. That's its natural, healthy operation. Brief, powerful activation followed by rapid deactivation. The profound problem and the root of William's struggle arises when this system gets stuck in the on position, activated chronically, not just during fleeting emergencies, but all day, every single day. And that, I explained to William, was precisely what was happening to him. His chronic stress, incessant worry, poor sleep, inflammatory diet, lack of physical activity, constant news consumption, and daily arguments all combined to keep his sympathetic nervous system continuously activated. From the moment he woke until he finally fell asleep, and sometimes even during sleep, William's sympathetic system was running at 80 to 90% capacity, 18 to 20 hours a day of relentless, high sympathetic tone, and no amount of blood pressure medication, I reiterated, can fully overcome that. Flipping the switch, your path to resetting your cardiovascular system. I assured William that this seemingly insurmountable challenge had a solution. I was going to teach him 7 revolutionary techniques, not mere relaxation tips or vague stress management suggestions, but physiological interventions precisely designed to measurably reduce sympathetic tone and dramatically increase parasympathetic tone. These aren't just feel-good practices. They work through specific, scientifically proven mechanisms, rigorously validated by cutting-edge research. However, before diving into these life-changing techniques, William, and now you, needed to grasp a crucial distinction. There are 2 fundamentally different types of sympathetic activation, each demanding a distinct approach for effective resolution. First, there's acute sympathetic activation. This is what happens during a sudden, intense stress event, a heated argument, a shocking piece of bad news, or a terrifying near miss in traffic. Your sympathetic system spikes dramatically, your heart races, your blood pressure shoots up, and your body enters a state of immediate heightened alert. This spike typically lasts for minutes to a few hours before gradually subsiding. The techniques we employ for acute activation are essentially emergency interventions, tools you need to immediately shut down that sudden surge. Second, and far more insidious, is chronic sympathetic activation. This is the state William found himself in, a persistently elevated baseline sympathetic tone that persists all day, every day. Even when you're sitting quietly, ostensibly doing nothing, your sympathetic activity is higher than it should be. Your body is perpetually stuck in a low-level emergency response, constantly draining your energy and silently damaging your cardiovascular system. The techniques for chronic activation are different. These are daily, consistent practices that, over weeks and months, gradually reset your baseline nervous system tone, shifting it towards a healthier, balanced state. You need both. Acute techniques are your immediate lifeline for when pressure spikes suddenly, providing rapid relief and preventing dangerous surges. Chronic techniques are your long-term strategy designed to lower your overall baseline, thereby reducing the frequency and severity of those spikes in the first place. Now, I urge you to reflect on your own experience. Comment below and tell me which applies most to you. Type acute if you primarily experience sudden, sharp pressure spikes. Type chronic if your blood pressure is consistently elevated even during calm moments, or type both if you battle both challenges. Your feedback helps me understand the scope of what you're dealing with. Your emergency toolkit, rapidly shutting down acute pressure spikes. For those moments when stress hits hard and your blood pressure surges unexpectedly, you need immediate, powerful interventions. I'm about to reveal the first 3 techniques, your emergency toolkit designed for rapid sympathetic shutdown. Technique 1, the diving reflex reset, 10-second pressure drop. This is quite simply the fastest way to turn off acute sympathetic activation known to science, often working within a remarkable 10 to 30 seconds. Its power lies in an ancient, hardwired reflex that exists in all mammals, the mammalian diving reflex. Here's how it works. When your face, specifically the areas around your nose, forehead, and eyes, makes contact with cold water, it triggers an involuntary survival mechanism. This reflex is designed to protect you from drowning by conserving oxygen when submerged. As it activates, several dramatic changes occur automatically. First, your heart rate drops dramatically, often by 20 to 30 beats per minute, almost instantly, a phenomenon known as diving bradycardia. Second, blood vessels in your extremities constrict, redirecting vital blood flow to your core organs, your heart and brain. Third, and most critical for blood pressure, there's a massive, immediate shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic nervous system dominance. Your body interprets the cold water on your face as a clear signal to enter conservation mode. The sympathetic system immediately shuts down, and the parasympathetic system powerfully activates. The sheer brilliance of this reflex is its automaticity. You cannot consciously control it. Submerge your face in cold water and the reflex will trigger. Period. This makes it incredibly reliable, unlike techniques that demand intense mental focus or extensive practice. However, for maximum effectiveness, the water must be genuinely cold. The colder, the better. Room temperature simply won't suffice. Ice water is ideal. The cold temperature is a crucial component in strongly activating the reflex. Furthermore, you need to immerse your face, not just splash it. Sustained contact with those specific facial areas, rich in cold sensitive nerve endings, is essential. Consider Dorothy, a 71-year-old woman plagued by anxiety-driven blood pressure spikes. The slightest worry would send her pressure soaring to 180, 185, even 190 over 105 or 110. These spikes were terrifying, accompanied by a pounding heart and intense pressure in her head, feeding a vicious cycle of increasing anxiety and worsening symptoms. She'd made 3 trips to the ER, convinced she was having a stroke, only to be given IV medications and sent home with a referral to her doctor, but no real solution. I taught Dorothy the diving reflex reset. The next time you feel a spike beginning, I instructed, that familiar wave of anxiety and pressure building, go immediately to your kitchen or bathroom. Fill a large bowl with the coldest tap water you can get, adding ice if possible. Bend over, take a deep breath, hold it, and plunge your face into the ice water. Keep it submerged, count to 15 in your head, then pull your face out. Dorothy looked at me, utterly skeptical. Sticking my face in ice water will lower my blood pressure. That sounds ridiculous. I explained the science, the automatic parasympathetic activation, the proven drop in heart rate and blood pressure. Just try it once, I urged. You'll feel it work, and then you'll have a tool you can use anywhere, anytime. 2 days later, Dorothy called me, breathless with relief. That morning, a spike had indeed begun. Anxiety building, pressure in her head, heart racing. But instead of panicking and dialing 911, she remembered my instructions. She grabbed a mixing bowl, filled it with cold tap water, added half a tray of ice cubes, bent over, took a breath, and plunged her face in. The initial shock of the cold made her want to recoil, but she forced herself to stay, silently counting to 15. As she pulled her face out, water dripping, she felt it. Her heart, which had been furiously racing at 110-115 beats per minute, slowed dramatically. The pounding subsided, the pressure in her head released, and the overwhelming anxiety plummeted from a 9 to a 4. She dried her face and immediately checked her blood pressure. Before the ice water, it had been 182 over 108. 30 seconds after the immersion, it was 156 over 94. A remarkable 26-point systolic drop in half a minute. Stunned, she repeated the process. Another 15 seconds in the ice water. Her pressure dropped again to 148 over 88, another 8 points down. After a third immersion, her pressure settled at 142/84. From 182/108 down to 142/84 in approximately 3 minutes total. Dorothy called me not from distress, but from tears of profound relief. For the first time in years, she possessed a tangible tool that worked, something she could do herself, something that restored her sense of control. Over the ensuing months, Dorothy utilized the diving reflex reset dozens of times. Every time she felt a spike coming, she reached for the ice water, and every time it worked. While not always as dramatically as that first instance, it consistently brought her pressure down by 15 to 30 points. Even more profoundly, after a few months of having this reliable tool, her anxiety about spikes significantly decreased. Simply knowing she could halt a spike made her generally less anxious, and less baseline anxiety meant fewer spikes overall, a positive cycle replacing the vicious one. You might not be able to try this immediately, but after watching this video, I implore you, go to your kitchen. Fill a large bowl with the coldest water possible, add ice, and plunge your face in for 15 seconds. Feel what happens to your heart rate. Experience that palpable shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic. Once you experience it, you'll know its power. And when you do, comment below with works or didn't work. I want to hear your results. The diving reflex reset protocol. Fill a large bowl with the coldest water possible. Add ice. Bend over the bowl, take a deep breath, plunge your face in, ensuring your forehead, nose bridge, and eye areas are fully submerged. Hold your breath and count to 15 in your head. Pull your face out and breathe normally. Repeat up to 3 times if needed. Each immersion can drop your pressure another 8 to 15 points for a total potential drop of 25 to 40 points in just a few minutes. Safety notes. If you have heart rhythm problems, glaucoma, or severe lung disease, consult your doctor before attempting this technique. While generally safe for most, the sudden heart rate drop and pressure changes can be a concern in specific conditions. Technique 2, the Valsalva reset, harnessing internal pressure. Our second powerful acute shutdown technique is called the Valsalva reset, a maneuver cardiologists use in hospitals to stop certain abnormal heart rhythms. It is equally potent in powerfully reducing sympathetic tone and blood pressure. Here's its mechanism. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs completely. Then you hold that breath and bear down hard, as if you're straining to have a very difficult bowel movement. This bearing down, known as the Valsalva maneuver, creates significant pressure within your chest and abdomen, simultaneously triggering several crucial physiological responses. First, this internal pressure compresses the major blood vessels surrounding your heart, your aorta, vena cava, and pulmonary vessels. Pressure sensors embedded in their walls, called baroreceptors, detect this surge in pressure. These baroreceptors are integral to your body's blood pressure regulation system. When they register this sudden high pressure, they send urgent signals to your brainstem. Pressure is too high, dangerously high, lower it immediately. Your brain in turn responds by powerfully activating your vagus nerve, the primary nerve of your parasympathetic nervous system. When the vagus nerve activates, it releases a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine throughout your cardiovascular system, which tells your heart to slow down, your blood vessels to dilate, and effectively shuts down sympathetic activity. The result is an immediate and dramatic drop in heart rate and blood pressure as the sympathetic system turns off. However, many people perform the Valsalva maneuver incorrectly. They don't bear down hard enough or long enough, executing a weak, brief strain for 5 seconds, then wonder why it's ineffective. For the Valsalva to truly activate the baroreceptors and trigger a potent vagal response, you need significant pressure maintained for at least 15 seconds, ideally 20. It should be strong, firm, sustained pressure, not a dangerous maximal strain. Let me introduce Robert, a 68-year-old whose blood pressure would skyrocket during stressful situations. Arguments with his wife, tense phone calls with his insurance company, or upsetting news. Whenever stress struck, his pressure would leap to 185, 190, even 195, over 100, 105, or 110. These spikes were genuinely dangerous, placing him at high risk for stroke in those critical moments. I taught Robert the Valsalva reset. Robert, I instructed, the moment you feel a spike starting, when that stress builds and your heart begins to race, stop what you're doing. If you're on the phone, ask them to hold. If you're in an argument, pause the conversation. Sit down immediately. Take a deep breath, filling your lungs completely. Then hold that breath and bear down, tightening your abdominal muscles as if you're trying to have a bowel movement. Create strong pressure in your chest and belly. Hold that pressure, and I want you to count to 20 in your head. Don't give up at 10. Don't release at 15. Count all the way to 20. Then release and breathe normally. Robert soon had the opportunity to practice. He was on the phone with his health insurance company, frustrated beyond measure after they denied a claim he believed should be covered. He felt his face flush, his heart race, recognizing the familiar onset of a spike. He told the representative, "Hold on one moment, please," put the phone down, sat in his chair, took a deep breath, filled his lungs, held it, and bore down hard, counting to 20. It was uncomfortable, but he persisted. As he released and breathed normally, he immediately noticed a shift. The intense anger had dissipated. The overwhelming frustration had dropped from a 9 to about a 4. He could think more clearly, calmly finishing the call without further upset. After hanging up, he checked his blood pressure. Before the Valsalva, it had been 188/106. He'd checked it mid-argument, only to feel more enraged. After the Valsalva, it was 162/94, a 26-point systolic drop, still elevated but dramatically better. The emotional reset was as valuable as the pressure reduction. Robert integrated this technique into his life, using it regularly. Anytime he felt a spike approaching, he would stop, sit, take a deep breath, and bear down for 20 seconds. It became automatic, working consistently, and combined with the diving reflex, he now possessed two powerful tools for acute spikes. Let's practice the Valsalva right now, so you can feel its immediate effects. Important safety note: if you have heart disease, glaucoma, or hernias, do not attempt this exercise. The straining can be dangerous for these conditions. For everyone else cleared to try it, sit comfortably, take a deep breath in, filling your lungs completely. Good. Now hold that breath and bear down, tightening your abdominal muscles, creating pressure in your chest and belly. I'll count for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep that pressure going. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're halfway there. Don't give up. 11, 12, 13. Getting uncomfortable, but keep going. 14, 15, 16. Chest tight, but maintain it. 17, 18, 19, 20. Release. Breathe normally. Did you feel what just happened? Your face likely reddened during the maneuver. You felt pressure in your head and chest. And now, as you breathe normally, you should notice your heart rate has slowed. Place your fingers on your wrist and feel your pulse. It's slower than before the Valsalva. That's vagal activation, parasympathetic turning on, sympathetic turning off. In a real spike situation, this technique can drop your pressure by 20 to 30 points. The Valsalva reset protocol. Sit down comfortably. Take a deep breath, filling your lungs completely. Hold your breath and bear down firmly for 20 seconds, counting in your head. Release the pressure and breathe normally for 30 to 60 seconds. Check your blood pressure if you have a monitor. If still high, repeat up to 3 times total. Most people find 1 or 2 maneuvers sufficient to significantly reduce a spike. Technique 3, the 4-7-8 emergency breath, calming panic and anxiety. Our third acute sympathetic shutdown technique is specifically tailored for panic and anxiety-driven spikes. The 4-7-8 emergency breath, developed by Dr. Andrew Weil and extensively studied for its profound effects on the nervous system. Here's how this precise breathing pattern works. You breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. You hold your breath for a count of 7. Then you breathe out through your mouth, making a gentle whoosh sound for a count of 8. This specific timing creates several physiological effects that powerfully shut down sympathetic activity and activate the parasympathetic system. First, the breath hold after inhaling. A slight, safe buildup of carbon dioxide in your blood occurs. This subtle CO2 increase triggers what's known as the relaxation response, signaling your body to calm down and slow its metabolic rate, a fundamental survival mechanism. Second, the extended exhale. Breathing out for 8 counts, significantly longer than the 4-count inhale, creates a 1.2 breathing ratio. Inhale half the length of exhale. This ratio potently activates your vagus nerve, which is stimulated most strongly during exhalation. The longer the exhale, the stronger the vagal activation, leading to profound parasympathetic dominance. Third, the mouth breathing on the exhale. Pursing your lips and breathing out through your mouth creates slight resistance. This resistance further prolongs the exhale and increases the activation of your diaphragm, the muscle intimately connected to your vagus nerve. Strong diaphragmatic activation translates directly to strong vagal activation. The synergistic combination of these 3 elements, the breath hold, the extended exhale, and the resistant mouth breathing, makes this one of the most effective breathing techniques for immediately halting panic and sympathetic activation. Consider Margaret, a 73-year-old woman suffering from severe health anxiety. Any unusual symptom, a strange twinge in her chest, a fleeting moment of dizziness, numbness in her hand, would instantly trigger intense panic. Her mind would race to the worst-case scenario: heart attack, stroke, brain tumor. The panic would escalate rapidly, her heart racing, blood pressure spiking, and more physical symptoms emerging, feeding a relentless spiral. She'd visited the emergency room 6 times in 1 year, each time being told nothing was physically wrong, that it was anxiety, and sent home. But the panic attacks persisted, each one spiking her pressure to 170, 180, sometimes even higher, readings that, despite the benign initial symptom, were genuinely dangerous. I taught Margaret the 4-7-8 emergency breath. Margaret, I advised, the next time you feel panic starting, the moment that cascade of fear and physical symptoms begins, stop everything, sit down, close your eyes, and complete 4 cycles of 4-7-8 breathing. In through your nose for 4, hold for 7, out through your mouth for 8. This will interrupt the panic spiral. Margaret was skeptical. Breathing is going to stop a panic attack? I've tried breathing exercises before. They don't work when I'm really panicking. I emphasized that this wasn't just any breathing exercise, but a specific pattern designed to create measurable changes in nervous system activity. Give it one real try during a panic attack, I urged. If it doesn't help, you never have to do it again. A week later, alone at home, Margaret felt a sharp, brief twinge in her chest. Her immediate thought, heart attack. Panic began, heart racing, more chest sensations, more panic. She felt the familiar spiral intensifying, but instead of reaching for the phone, she remembered. She sat on her couch, closed her eyes, and began 4-7-8 breathing. In through her nose, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out through her mouth for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. After 1 cycle, the panic was still there, maybe an 8 out of 10, but she continued. Second cycle, panic decreased to about a 6. She could feel the shift. Third cycle, panic down to a 4. Fourth cycle, down to a 2. After just 4 cycles, taking maybe 90 seconds total, the panic was manageable. Her heart rate, which had been 115, was now down to 82. She could think clearly enough to recognize that the chest twinge was likely just muscle strain, not a heart attack. She checked her blood pressure. It had spiked to 176 over 102 at the peak of panic. After the 4-7-8 breathing, it was 152 over 88, still elevated from baseline, but a powerful 24-point drop from the peak. Margaret called me later that day, amazed. For the first time ever, she had stopped a panic attack on her own. She had interrupted the spiral. She had a tool that worked. Over the following months, she used 4-7-8 breathing dozens of times, catching panic early or using it for several minutes when needed. It always helped, always brought the panic down, and always dropped her blood pressure. Let's practice 4-7-8 breathing together right now for 4 complete cycles. I'll count for you. Sit comfortably. You can close your eyes if you wish. Place one hand on your belly if that helps you focus on breathing deeply. Cycle 1. Breathe in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cycle 2, in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cycle 3, in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cycle 4, final cycle. In. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Open your eyes. Notice how you feel calmer, more centered, your heart rate slower. That shift you feel is a real, measurable change in your nervous system, a shift from sympathetic to parasympathetic dominance. If you just practiced with me and felt that immediate calming effect, comment 478 works below. I want to see how many of you experienced it. The 478 emergency breath protocol. Perform 4 cycles minimum during acute panic or stress. You can do up to 8 cycles if needed. This technique can be done anywhere, anytime, sitting, standing, or even lying down, with eyes open or closed. The key is maintaining the specific timing. 4 counts in, 7 counts hold, 8 counts out. Do not rush it. Count at a steady, consistent pace. These 3 techniques, the diving reflex, Valsalva, and 4-7-8 breathing, form your essential emergency toolkit for acute sympathetic spikes. When your pressure shoots up suddenly, when you're panicking, or when stress hits hard, use one or all 3. They work within minutes and can rapidly drop your pressure by 20 to 40 points. Deep reset. Daily practices for chronic sympathetic dominance. While the emergency toolkit is vital for acute spikes, most people face a deeper, more pervasive challenge: chronic sympathetic activation. This is when your baseline sympathetic tone is elevated all day, every day, even in moments of calm. To address this, we need different techniques, consistent, daily practices that gradually reset your nervous system over weeks and months. Technique 4, heart rate variability, HRV, coherence breathing, the master reset. This is the single most powerful daily practice for lowering baseline sympathetic tone and restoring nervous system balance. To understand its power, we first need to understand heart rate variability, or HRV. Your heart doesn't beat with the rigid precision of a metronome. The time between each beat constantly varies. This subtle, healthy variation is called heart rate variability, HRV. When you have high HRV, it signifies that your heart is responding flexibly to the ever-changing demands of your environment, able to speed up when necessary and slow down appropriately. High HRV is a direct indicator of strong parasympathetic tone and a healthy, adaptable nervous system. Conversely, low HRV means your heart beats in a rigid, inflexible pattern, strongly indicating sympathetic dominance. Your nervous system is stuck in perpetual stress mode. Individuals with chronic high blood pressure almost invariably exhibit low HRV. Their hearts beat with a monotonous rhythm, reflecting autonomic dysfunction. But here's the truly exciting news. You can significantly increase your HRV through a specific breathing pattern. By breathing at precisely 6 breaths per minute, that's a consistent 5 seconds for your inhale and 5 seconds for your exhale, something remarkable occurs. Your heart rate variation synchronizes perfectly with your breath. Your heart rate gently increases during the inhale and subtly decreases during the exhale, creating a smooth, coherent, wave-like pattern. This synchronized state is called coherence. When you consistently practice coherence breathing daily, you effectively train your autonomic nervous system, progressively increasing your baseline HRV, strengthening your parasympathetic tone, and fundamentally reducing sympathetic dominance. The research supporting this is extensive and overwhelming. Numerous studies unequivocally demonstrate that just 20 minutes of coherence breathing performed daily can reduce blood pressure by 10 to 15 points over 8 to 12 weeks, an effect as potent as adding another blood pressure medication. And unlike medications, the benefits of coherence breathing continue to build and deepen over time. William integrated coherence breathing into his daily life. He set his alarm 20 minutes earlier each morning, committed to a sacred routine. Wake up, no phone, no news, just sitting comfortably in a chair and breathing. 5 seconds in through his nose, 5 seconds out through his nose, for 20 uninterrupted minutes, 120 rhythmic breaths. He used a simple phone app that provided gentle beeps to help him maintain the precise timing. The first week was challenging. His mind constantly wandered. He'd lose count, get easily distracted, and often felt it was a futile exercise. But I had urged him to stick with it for at least 3 weeks, the minimum time required for the nervous system to begin its profound adaptations. By week 2, it became noticeably easier, his mind wandering less frequently. By week 3, he actually began to anticipate this morning practice. It transformed into his personal calm time, his essential reset. By week 4, the changes became undeniable. His baseline anxiety level had significantly decreased. He wasn't waking up with his mind immediately racing. And by week 8, his blood pressure was noticeably lower, even before any medication adjustments. The mechanisms underpinning coherence breathing's remarkable effects on blood pressure are multi-layered and powerful. Firstly, regular practice strengthens vagal tone, making your vagus nerve more robust and responsive. Secondly, it significantly improves baroreflex sensitivity, meaning your body's pressure sensors become more adept at regulating blood pressure. Thirdly, it reduces cortisol, decreasing your baseline levels of this detrimental stress hormone. Fourthly, and vitally, it enhances endothelial function. The lining of your blood vessels works more efficiently, producing more nitric oxide, a potent vasodilator that helps relax and widen blood vessels. All these mechanisms converge to create a powerful, sustained reduction in blood pressure. Let's experience coherence, breathing together. We'll practice for 3 minutes, which equates to 18 breath cycles. While a full practice would be 20 minutes, this will give you an authentic feel for the technique. I will count every single breath for you. Get very comfortable. This should feel easy, gentle, and unforced. Here we go. Breathe 1 in through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 2 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 3 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 4 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 5 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 6 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1/3 complete. You are actively creating coherence right now. Breathe 7 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 8 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 9 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 10 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 11 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe top in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2/3 done. Your nervous system is profoundly shifting into balance. Breathe 13 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 14 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe 15 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. That's what 3 minutes feels like. Calm, centered, balanced. Now imagine consistently performing 20 minutes of this every single morning. That is how you systematically reset your autonomic nervous system. That is how you successfully shift from chronic sympathetic dominance to a state of healthy dynamic balance. Now commit honestly. Can you commit to 20 minutes of coherence breathing every morning? Comment yes or no below. I want to see who is truly willing to do this vital daily work. HRV coherence, breathing protocol. Perform 20 minutes daily, ideally first thing in the morning, before checking your phone or news. Sit comfortably with back support. Use a timer or a dedicated app to maintain the precise 6 breaths per minute timing. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Breathe smoothly and gently through your nose, both on the inhale and exhale. Avoid forcing the breath. If 20 minutes feels overwhelming initially, start with 10 minutes and gradually build up. Consistency is paramount over duration. 10 minutes every day is far more effective than 20 minutes sporadically. Technique 5, progressive muscle relaxation with autonomic training, conscious control. Most individuals are familiar with progressive muscle relaxation, PMR, a technique involving systematically tensing and relaxing muscle groups throughout the body. However, for true autonomic training, for maximum sympathetic shutdown and nervous system recalibration, most people perform it incorrectly by omitting a crucial breathing component. Here's how to harness PMR for optimal results. The key is to intentionally tense each muscle group while breathing in slowly for approximately 5 seconds. This deliberate tensing coupled with the inhale consciously activates the sympathetic nervous system, allowing you to feel that tension. Then you immediately and completely release the muscle, allowing it to go utterly limp, while simultaneously breathing out slowly for an extended 10 seconds. This prolonged exhale powerfully activates the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing you to fully experience the profound release and relaxation. This systematic contrast effectively trains your nervous system to vividly recognize the difference between these two states, tension and relaxation. Over time, this consistent practice cultivates conscious control over that crucial autonomic switch. You'll move methodically through your body, starting with your feet. Curl your toes tightly while breathing in for 5 seconds, feeling the sympathetic activation and tension. Then, completely release your toes, letting them go slack, and breathe out for 10 seconds, experiencing the parasympathetic activation and deep relaxation. Remember, the exhale should be twice as long as the inhale to maximize vagal activation. Continue this systematic pattern through your calves, tightening calf muscles with a 5-second inhale, then releasing completely with a 10-second exhale. Progress to your thighs, glutes, abdomen, chest, arms, shoulders, neck, and finally, your face. Each muscle group receives the same deliberate pattern. A 5-second tense with an inhale, followed by a 10-second extended release with an exhale. The entire sequence typically takes about 10 to 12 minutes. The true power of this technique lies in this deliberate contrast. You are intentionally generating sympathetic activation with the tensing and inhale, then immediately and consciously shifting into a deep parasympathetic state with the release and extended exhale. This contrast is like weight training for your autonomic nervous system, teaching it how to efficiently make that crucial shift. William incorporated this practice every evening before bed, serving two vital purposes. First, it effectively released the accumulated muscle tension from a day of chronic stress, particularly in his shoulders, neck, and jaw. Second, and equally important, it significantly improved his sleep quality. The deep relaxation it induced made falling asleep easier, and better sleep is directly correlated with healthier blood pressure. It's during sleep that your blood pressure should naturally dip by 10 to 20%. Disrupted sleep often prevents this essential nocturnal dipping. Progressive muscle relaxation significantly improved William's sleep. After just 6 weeks of nightly practice, William gained a profound new awareness. He could feel when his sympathetic system was activating during the day, a tensing in his shoulders, a clenching in his jaw, and he could consciously release that tension, deliberately shifting from sympathetic to parasympathetic. This newfound awareness and control was transformative, moving him from being a victim of his nervous system to an active agent influencing his own physiology. Progressive muscle relaxation protocol. Practice nightly before bed. Find a quiet space and either lie down or sit in a very comfortable chair with support. Work through each major muscle group systematically. 5-second tense with inhale, followed by a 10-second complete release with a slow exhale. Ensure you cover all muscle groups. The complete sequence is vital for comprehensive training. After completing the sequence, lie or sit quietly for 2 to 3 minutes, fully embracing the deep state of relaxation you've cultivated. Technique 6. Vagal tone strengthening, building your internal resilience. Your vagus nerve is not just a passive conduit, it's like a muscle that responds to training. The more you activate it, the stronger it becomes. A strong vagal tone signifies powerful parasympathetic control, dramatically enhancing your body's innate ability to shut down sympathetic activation. There are various ways to stimulate and strengthen your vagus nerve. Cold exposure, gargling vigorously, and even singing or humming loudly all provide vagal activation. However, the most potent method for building robust vagal tone is through specific breath holds with empty lungs. Here's how this profound technique works and why it's so effective. You breathe out completely, emptying your lungs fully. Then, with empty lungs, you hold your breath for as long as is comfortably possible, not until you're gasping for air, but until you feel a strong, undeniable urge to breathe. For some, this might be 20 seconds, for others, 40 seconds. When you eventually inhale, do so slowly and smoothly through your nose. During this breath, hold with empty lungs. Carbon dioxide gradually builds up in your blood, creating a sensation of discomfort. But here's the magic. When you finally breathe in after that hold, your vagus nerve activates powerfully. It's responding to both the CO2 buildup and the immense relief of breathing, providing a strong training stimulus, like a bicep curl for your vagus nerve. Consistently practicing this 5 breath holds once daily will progressively increase your baseline vagal tone over several weeks. Studies that directly measure vagal tone confirm significant improvements with regular practice, and increased vagal tone directly translates to superior blood pressure control. William seamlessly integrated vagal breath holds into his morning routine. Immediately after his 20 minutes of coherence breathing, he would perform 5 breath holds. He'd breathe out completely, hold with empty lungs until he felt that strong urge to breathe. Then inhale slowly, rest for 30 to 60 seconds, and repeat 5 times total. Within just 3 weeks, William noticed a significant drop in his resting heart rate. It had always hovered around 76 beats per minute, but now consistently measured 68. A lower resting heart rate is a direct physiological marker of increased vagal tone. As his vagal tone continued to strengthen over the subsequent months, his blood pressure continued its steady, healthy decline. Vagal tone. Strengthening protocol. Perform 5 breath holds daily, ideally after your coherence breathing practice or at another consistent time. Breathe out completely through your mouth, emptying your lungs. Hold your breath with empty lungs. You can time yourself to track progress. Hold until you feel a strong urge to breathe, typically 20 to 60 seconds, depending on fitness. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Avoid gasping. Rest for 30 to 60 seconds before the next hold. Repeat 5 times. Safety note: if you experience dizziness or lightheadedness, you are holding your breath for too long. Shorten the hold. This practice should feel challenging but never dangerous. Let's try 1 vagal breath hold together. Breathe in normally. Now breathe out completely, emptying your lungs. Pause the video here if you need a moment. Now hold your breath with lungs empty. I'll count for you, but stop anytime you need to. Holding. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. Feel the urge building. 15 seconds. 20 seconds. Getting uncomfortable. 25 seconds. 30 seconds. If you're still holding, well done. 35, 40. Okay, that's enough. Breathe in slowly through your nose. No gasping, just a slow, smooth inhale. Feel that? That profound relief of breathing? That's precisely when vagal activation occurs most powerfully. Incorporate this 5 times daily, and your vagus nerve will grow stronger week by week. Technique 7. Circadian realignment. Harmonizing your body's natural rhythms. This final technique for chronic sympathetic reset is one most people have never heard of, yet it is critically important for optimal blood pressure control: circadian realignment. Your sympathetic nervous system is designed to follow a natural circadian rhythm. It should be higher in the morning, naturally aiding wakefulness and activity, and significantly lower in the evening, facilitating winding down and restorative sleep. However, in individuals with chronic high blood pressure, this natural rhythm is profoundly disrupted. The sympathetic system remains elevated throughout the day and fails to decrease properly at night. When your sympathetic system doesn't drop at night, your blood pressure doesn't experience its essential nocturnal dip during sleep. Normally, blood pressure should be 10 to 20% lower during sleep than during waking hours. This nocturnal dipping is absolutely essential for long-term cardiovascular health, providing your heart and blood vessels with crucial time to rest and repair. Individuals who consistently lack proper nocturnal dipping face significantly higher rates of heart attack, stroke, and heart failure. You can powerfully realign your circadian sympathetic rhythm through two primary interventions: precisely timed light exposure and carefully timed eating. Let me explain each. Timed light exposure. Your internal circadian clock, which orchestrates your sympathetic rhythm, is primarily set by light exposure to your eyes. When bright light, ideally natural sunlight, hits your retinas in the morning, it sends potent signals to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your master clock located in your brain. This signal declares it's daytime, time to be active. This appropriately increases cortisol and sympathetic activity. Conversely, as light decreases in the evening, your master clock receives the signal, it's nighttime, time to rest. This should naturally decrease sympathetic activity and increase melatonin production for sleep. The pervasive modern problem is that most people don't get enough bright light in the morning and far too much bright light from screens in the evening. This disorients the circadian clock, preventing it from distinguishing between day and night, leading to a disrupted sympathetic rhythm. The fix: get bright light exposure, ideally natural sunlight, within 30 minutes of waking. Go outside. Even on a cloudy day, outdoor light is vastly brighter than any indoor lighting. Spend 10 to 30 minutes outside, and during this time, do not wear sunglasses. You need the full spectrum of light to directly hit your eyes. This powerfully sets your internal clock for daytime. Then, in the evening, 2 to 3 hours before bed, drastically reduce light exposure. Dim your lights, use warm-colored bulbs, and critically avoid bright screens, phones, tablets, computers, bright TVs. This unequivocally tells your internal clock that nighttime is approaching. Timed eating. Your circadian clock is also profoundly influenced by when you eat. Eating signals activity. It's daytime. Not eating signals rest. It's nighttime. However, most people consume food across a vast 14 to 16-hour window, perhaps breakfast at 7 a.m. and snacking until 11 p.m. This constantly sends daytime signals throughout the entire day and well into the evening. The fix: compress your eating window into a maximum of 10 to 12 hours. If you eat breakfast at 7 a.m., ensure your last meal or snack is finished by 7 p.m., ideally by 6 p.m. No eating after your dinner cutoff. This establishes a clear, consistent fasting period of 12 hours or more overnight. This dedicated fasting period is essential for allowing your sympathetic system to decrease properly, enabling your parasympathetic system to dominate, which is fundamental for healthy blood pressure dipping during sleep. William rigorously implemented both interventions. Every morning, within 30 minutes of waking, he went outside, sat on his porch and drank his coffee, ensuring 20 to 30 minutes of morning light exposure. In the evening, all screens were off after 8 p.m. He even replaced his bedroom lamps with red-tinted bulbs to create a dim, warm, sleep-promoting environment. He also adopted a strict eating window: breakfast by 7 a.m., dinner concluded by 6:30 p.m., with no snacking thereafter. Within 2 weeks, his sleep dramatically improved. He was falling asleep faster, sleeping more deeply, and waking less during the night. More profoundly, when we measured his blood pressure with a 24-hour monitor, we observed proper nocturnal dipping for the first time in years. His daytime pressure averaged 138/82, while his nighttime pressure averaged a healthy 118/68, a perfect 20-point systolic dip. This restoration of nocturnal dipping alone likely reduced his cardiovascular risk by a significant 30 to 40%. Circadian realignment protocol.